Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, and I just got back from Gotham Central Comics and Collectibles, and that's where you should be headed because there are some things that might be out by the time you get there, so don't dally. Listen, guys, you know new comic books come out every Wednesday, right? And that's the day to go and pick up what you need to pick up. And we're going to start off taking a look at what we got here. Listen, with the deal currently going on that it looks like Marvel is going to wind up acquiring all of the X-Men properties, more on that later. You know, it seems as though they've got some kind of a dead set ideal that they need to kill Cable. I mean, they're planning it in two different comics. What's up with that? So over in Deadpool, yeah, they're actually planning on killing Cable. But if you've been reading, you know that there's a caveat to that. So over in Cable proper, we see that they've been dealing with the externals there, and he's reforming a version of the X-Force, and it's looking like it's a pretty nice team so far. Anyway, guys, if you haven't gotten your Pops or your other collectibles yet, it might be a good time to go and look for it because as we get closer to the movie release, yeah, all this stuff is going to be sold out. So Gotham Central, Comics and Collectibles, hashtag get your Pops. Over here, we're going to take a look at Venom Inc., The Amazing Spider-Man. The story is continuing, guys, from Venom Inc. Alpha last week. Well, now we're going to continue the story. We're going to keep bouncing between The Amazing Spider-Man and the Venom issues for a little while before we go into Venom Inc. Omega. In the meantime, we've also got Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly. Guys, if you are not following this comic, this is the surprise sleeper hit that nobody expected was going to be that good. I'm just saying I may have flipped through the pages a little bit and Death is back and messing with his face. You don't mess with a man's face. You don't mess with a clone's face. I'm just saying. By the way, get your Pops. Folks, in Royals, issue number 12, Primogen has been found, and the last Inhuman must battle the Primitors. Will he survive? What's going to happen? The comic book is actually rounding out to an end, and if you want to see what happens, now's the time to pick it up. On top of that, we have Secret Warriors. This comic book, if you're not picking it up, I don't know what to tell you, but this is an amazing story inside. Karnak's got a son, and he's not the nicest person to his son. I don't know what else to tell you about that except Inhumans running wild and magic. Ilyana Rasputin is trying to round them all up. Get your Pops. Remember the early 90s? X-Men 2099, they're back in X-Men Blue. Yeah, the cross-time capers. This is a pretty interesting story. I'm fairly impressed. Jean Grey is also coming to an end, and that's a shame. But in the meantime, we're cross in the middle of Psych Wars, and everybody you see on that cover, Hope, Quentin, Jean Grey herself, and the Stepfords. They look up in the sky, and what do they see? No joke. The Phoenix looking down, about to consume them all. Yeah, get your Pops. Weapon X, we're coming up on a new storyline with Nuclear War. It's, if you guys saw the previews to this, it's as good as you think. On top of that, all new Wolverine. Could that cover be real? What? Oh, also, as far as the Pops are concerned, do I have to say it? Speaking of Pops, can we get some Pops for these two characters? Mr. Miracle stands alone. No, seriously, not just in the picture. It stands alone as one of the absolute best comics that is currently in print. This is an amazing story, and hopefully it won't necessarily end after issue 12. But guys, you should seriously be on this comic if you're not. They're already in third prints of the earlier issues. Is there a more Canadian comic than Maestro's? I really am not sure. This is as Canadian as it gets. This is an absolutely amazing series. You should definitely be following this. Also, Robotech. This has survived the test of time. This comic seems to be diverging a little tiny bit from the original first season, but that necessarily isn't a bad thing. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, and Flash. These are two staples in the DC universe. I shouldn't need to tell you anything about this. However, over in the Flash, the storyline is looking pretty wicked. They say you can never go home, and in Action Comics, Superman's going to see if that's true or not, because he's going to try and save Krypton back in time, and who's going to stop him but Booster Gold himself. And then you have Batman Detective Comics. Clayface is going to be dealing with the Victim Syndicate, and apparently alone. Get your Pops. back in print because I know that a lot of people wanted this, but it's sold out. Well, it's back this week. The Batman Who Laughs. Go and pick it up, your DC Metal tie-in. On top of that, if you actually see the real life Batman Who Laughs, consider calling Batman on the Batman phone. We've all got our favorite Daredevil writers, but how many of us actually have a favorite Matt Murdock writer? Yeah, well, when the writer is a lawyer himself, that kind of helps. That helps a lot. On top of that, what can make Punisher more dangerous? Give him the War Machine armor. If you're watching it on TV over on Hulu, you should definitely be reading it. The Runaways. Excellent story. Gert's back. Also, Falcon. This is a pretty interesting arc where he is facing what should essentially be an absolutely unbeatable foe. Last but not least in the comic book spectrum, Wonder Woman is face-to-face with her little brother. Well, her twin brother, actually. I guess she was born first. Whatever. He's a boy. He couldn't stay on Themyscira. So he was ushered off. And unfortunately, he wound up becoming a bad guy. And yeah, now this scene happens. On top of that, there's a new Wonder Woman figure in. And oh my God, if she doesn't look just like Linda Carter. Perfection. Folks, if you think Gotham Central Comics and Collectibles is not kid-friendly, you haven't been looking hard enough. There are things there for everybody, all ages. That's right, bring in Grandma. I just saw Thor Ragnarok in theaters again this week. It was that good. But there are plenty of Thor versus Hulk stories out there, and they're all pretty amazing. And there are plenty in Gotham Central Comics and Collectibles. There are also statues, including this one that just dropped. That's right, it's actually posable. This thing. And if there were one trailer that looked more intense, more insane than Thor Ragnarok's did, it would be Black Panther. When that movie comes out, it's going to be insane. Off the charts, off the wall. And I'm telling you right now, this statue, this figure right here, extremely posable. It is genuinely first come, first serve. Will Gotham Central Comics and Collectibles be able to get more? No promises. And there's new merchandise in every week. Stop in weekly. Make sure there's nothing that you miss. And if there's one thing that Gotham Central Comics and Collectibles is known for more than all of the figures and the statues and the comics that they've got, it's the idea that everybody comes here. Everybody comes here. You don't need to go to a comic book convention. You could swing by and meet your favorite artists, your favorite writers, everything. That includes Anthony Rutgazer's Heroes of Homeroom C. Book signing from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday, December 16th. Plenty of time. Just make sure you actually swing in. And you guys know the rest. Gotham Central Comics and Collectibles. Come into the store if possible. If not, they are online. They ship to Canada and America, and they ship to Canada and America from Canada and America. So no cross-border charges. Get what you need. Visit them. Check them out online. Check us out on Facebook. Guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.